What's up everybody, it's Kiyodo and welcome back to another SMT Dx2 video. Today we're here with more PvP and this time I'm going to be showcasing one of my favorite sweepers, Kuu Lane. So Kuu Lane's only really good in the purple archetype because its awakening skill is Force Pierce, but with that Force Pierce you have a lot of viability, and because Kuu Lane has no weaknesses, that allows you to throw on a huge variety of transferable skills, and you can really switch it up. A lot of people go for things like Force Boost, Force Amp, but you can go for things like Endure, Enduring Soul, Mazan, or even things like Zanma L and Twister. Because Force Pierce is something that's not really covered in the meta, at least currently, it is a really good way of getting around people's teams because they don't cover it, they try to put on other skills, and they can get punished because Kuu Lane has some major damage on top of being one of the few piercers in the game. So because Kuu Lane is so squishy, I do recommend throwing on something like Endure and Enduring Soul because there are some units that will just blow them up in 1 or 2 hits. That would be really devastating for your team. But it really helps when you're fighting things like biker teams or anybody that has insta-kills like Masakato or Alice. So I think that Endure works really well, especially on Kuu Lane. You can just bust out your damage, not having to worry too much about your health. And if you do die, you probably have some revives on your team as well. So Kuu Lane's a very flexible unit, and that's why I like to use it in a lot of situations, even more so than Thor, who's usually better at single targets. But throwing on things like Zanma L and Twister allows you to do some crazy things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. So here's a few fights with my Kuu Lane in different situations. I fight teams like Charm, with Hellbikers, with normal, regular, all-around setups, and Kuu Lane tends to do pretty well in those. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we're gonna go against Fargo here. Unfortunately, with the team that I have right now, the speed is a little bit too fast, and we can change that. Thanks to Kuu Lane's slightly slower speed than the average attacker, tends to work out pretty well. Now we just barely cut under the speed and we can go second in case that this Ket's Olilot combo has Charm. So we're going to be able to avoid that and any big damage from Yinlong Killer and stop this Trumpeter from using Apocalypse, and we're going to force it to use Concentrate instead. So let's take a look at this team here. Yeah, Anti-Fizz team, but really low HP on that Ket's actually, so I don't know if it's going to do that much. It seems to be more of a dodge tank. Looking at this Olilot, this is definitely a Charmer at only 1800 HP, so we're gonna have to look out for that, and it's just pretty much as I expected. Looking at Trumpeter here, has a bunch of HP actually, almost 1900, wow. And purple, so that means the Rakuga is coming out, but we don't have to worry about that too much because they're going first. And this Huangdi probably going to be a problem at 1700 HP, almost 1800. If it was pulled with Teal, then it probably has Infernal Mask as well, so it's going to be hard to hit that thing with any sort of ailment, but we're going to try, although we don't have to. And let's go ahead and see how this fight goes here. Kuu Lane's speed being a really big deal in this matchup, making my team slower than his, which actually turns out pretty well in this case. Because usually I'd use Thor, but actually Kuu Lane could work out for those slower teams. Doesn't have to be a slow team either, to be honest. I put Kuu Lane in fast teams as well. There's Autorunda and Rakuga. So yeah, this setup is pretty strong. But the thing is, debuffs don't really work against my team. So we're going to be dealing with this. They didn't use barrier breaks, so I find that kind of weird. No gigantic attack from the Huangdi, so that's big. And yeah, this is looking pretty okay. No Tensing Porn buff up here. And just charge this up. So the reason why I'm not using the Apocalypse right away, you'll see. It'll all make sense eventually. Yinlong Killer comes out, but misses. Interesting. So we're probably going to be able to pass and hit with this, which is okay. It's not as I intended it to be, but we're pretty much just passing through until we can get the defense buff off of them, and that should be okay. Let's see if we can even hit this. It's probably muted twice. Yeah, that makes sense. And from there, heal up. Now there's a reason to all this, and honestly, I should have gone with a different setup here. In fact, it probably would have been better if I had Kuu Lane with lead brands to go in the 3rd position. So usually about 2-3 turns, the mutes will end, especially on characters with high luck. So I'm pretty much just betting on that to happen. Kuu Lane, on the other hand, does not have that high luck, which is why they did not break out. Though it does not matter, because Trumpeter's back up. High luck. Makes him super viable here. And I think I'm just going to attack. Just get that first sure damage off because I'm not sure if Kuu Lane will be unmuted. Though I don't really care about that too. I don't really need him to attack. Let's see what I want to do. Yeah, let's do this. See, somebody was telling me that I should use Megadola because that's just obviously better in all ways, on Kinmammon at least. And that's totally true, even if I upgraded Megiddo all the way up. Not as good. Definitely not as good. But you know what? I'm not a logical person. I do things because I want to do things like that. And slag on them, that's right. They still lose. I don't see a problem with that. Okay, so we're going against the Charm team next. Again, Kinmammon's gonna play a big part in this whole thing. We don't really need to have the Silent Prayer, we could just have Prayer in this situation because we know Lakshmi's gonna try to charm us. And we don't really know if it's gonna be Huanglong that's gonna do the Barrier Break or the Yataragasu, but most likely it's gonna be Yata, just because usually that's all it's there for, to be honest. So this is a relatively tanky Yataragasu at 1400 HP. It's kind of weird for that to happen. Lakshmi, very squishy as usual, but it's probably going to charm us. Huanglong, so since it's yellow, it's probably going to use Lesser Candy first anyways, which means that it's not going to be the Barrier Breaker, that's going to be Yata, which we thought. The Trumpeter, super squishy as well, which is also very unorthodox for this team. You probably don't want to have Trumpeter on this sort of team because it's going first, and if it goes first, it's like for sure gonna use Concentrate, which really is terrible. I think we're just gonna abuse this person pretty terribly. I'm not sure if they tested out their own team, but maybe their Trumpeter has something else, like a Mind Break perhaps, because otherwise, it's probably not too good for that matchup. Or any matchup really, where you're going first. So let's see what they do, I guess. Buffs, yep. That's good stuff. But we're gonna get all of our buffs because of Nanta. Cool, yeah. They didn't do anything else. No auto Tarunda from their Trumpeter. That's a shame. So we were expecting that. And usually this combo works really well for that type of team that they have. Except that it used Concentrate from the Trumpeter. Again, there's no reason to throw that in there if you're trying to go first. So Silent Prayer is going to get rid of the Charm. Then it's also going to get rid of the 5 elements, and that pretty much gets rid of any problem that we have as a mage user. So yeah, don't have to worry about buffing up either, because that's not a thing anymore, and that allows us to get our Kuu Lane damage out. It's the way that the turn order works perfectly. And boop, you're all gone. Oh my god. Oh boy, you're gonna get me Megiddo'd. Boy, test your team. Seriously. Alright, what is going on with this? Is there some sort of trend that I'm missing here? Why are people putting Trumpeter on a fast team? This just doesn't work out this way. So this is a biker team, obviously. Oh, this guy is super squishy. So they're pretty much trying to wipe me out in one turn. However, they have a Trumpeter on their team, which, doesn't really make too much sense. Even if it's red and has Judgment, that's not gonna work on turn 1, so yeah, I don't know what you're doing here. Teal Xiao Gongen. That's unfortunate. In this Fizz meta, that ain't gonna work. There's this thing called Fizz Pierce that exists, my dude. And so, Kuu Lane works really well in this comp, but we're not gonna be using this team on him. We're going to be using my normal anti-biker team, which is an anti-fizz team, and it definitely always uses Kuu Lane because Kuu Lane is actually really good in this matchup. There aren't too many people with Repel Force or Drain Force plus Alilat or Rama, especially not in biker teams. So there's a lot of stuff that Kuu Lane just goes through, and that's pretty much what's going to carry us through. Also, having Endure is a big deal, so I like having Endure on squishy people like Trumpeter and Kuu Lane, because otherwise they just die. Sometimes they get one-shotted. It's terrible, but it happens. So this is going to turn out like pretty much any biker team, except they're going to lose an attack because they have a Trumpeter, which goes first and always uses Concentrate, unless it maybe has Mind Break or Megiddo, but it doesn't always use that. There's the Concentrate. I don't know why people do this. Y'all must got some big brain tech that I don't know about or something. This is fishy. Let's just charm him, cause why not? Why the hell not? Little boop there, and big boop here. Boop, and you're gone. Biker team, 1 turn. Yeah, they're not very good on defense. More so for attack, and they actually do well in that case. But I don't know about defense. It's too easy to counter these days.